Hello. So that was how my friend was kidnapped. He was traveling from Abuja to his place, Delta State. On their way, they encountered several checkpoints. And at what seemed to be the last checkpoint within that vicinity, some 500 meters away from the last checkpoint, they met some individuals who were putting on military uniform. And the driver simply presumed or thought that they were military officers. On getting close to those people, who obviously were kidnappers, they shot at the driver and killed the driver instantly. Immediately, they evacuated all the occupants of the 18-seater bus into a nearby bush. And from that moment henceforth, they became kidnapped victims. They were taken into the thick bush and they walked for several hours, as much as 7 hours. You can imagine trekking for even up to 3 hours or more. You know how you're going to feel. Let's talk of trekking for 7 hours. As if that was not enough, they rested for just a few minutes, maybe like 30, 40 minutes max, and they continued trekking for another 10 hours. I'm getting to a small settlement. They were asked to sit down. And while they were walking, they were giving the beating of their lives. These guys were wiping them, hitting them with cutlasses, hitting them with sticks meant for rearing cattle until they got to that place. And then they tore the clothes or the shirt of some of the victims and tied the hands of all the occupants. Luckily, some of the occupants escaped, even though my friend could not ascertain their whereabouts even after they were released. Because by the time they got into the thick forest, my friend realized that they had other groups of kidnappers. It was like their territory. While they were still there, they got their phones, collected all their phones, of course, removed their SIM cards and inserted in other phones, and then started calling their relatives to start paying ransom for their immediate release. That was like after they had trekked for 3 days, when the heat of the sun, everything. After about 3 days, they made contact with some of their relatives. And see what they did. The kidnappers wanted a situation where everybody would pay at once, so they could get the money in bulk and release all of them. So they look at you, the size of your body, the look of your skin, and probably what you're putting on, and that determines how much they were going to charge your people to pay. When they got to my friend's farm, they said, all your people, and tell them to send 30 million. That was the first amount they requested. They called the other guy, he was looking very healthy, and they said, you pay 50 million. And then they made these calls. And luckily for my friend, the first person they called, who happened to be his cousin, picked the call immediately and screamed on hearing the amount that was requested. And when the kidnappers heard the scream, they gave him a dirty slap. They were like, why was your uncle shouting? Why was he screaming? Then at the second day, they started renegotiating. And the 30 million I came down to like 15, 10 million. And then some other people, depending, like I said, depending on how ready you looked, um, they were giving various amounts to pay. And they were given like 3 days or so to put the money together. So this continued until they kept moving around. Within the 1 week before the money got to the kidnappers, they were moving around. All right, having spoken to you about the experience my friend went through in the hands of the captors, I want to advise you as somebody who has heard from the horse's mouth. Because I thought these things were just stories from random people until it happened to this very close friend of mine. He's almost like a brother. Now the thing is this: if you're traveling, make sure that you are very security conscious. Whether you are the one driving or somebody else is driving, you should be able to watch out, look around for some danger signals.
Travel with less cash, valuable watches, jewelry, and others. Avoid displaying classy gadgets while driving in your car. Travel with a spare tire, plug, and fuel pump in your car always. Review travel plans. Avoid traveling at night, particularly on bad, poorly lit roads if you can. Drive to the nearest police station or place of safety whenever you feel your vehicle is being followed while traveling. While traveling with your car, ensure you fill up your tank before you hit the road. Respect curfews or restrictions imposed on the movement of vehicles and persons on a road or at your destination. Keep car windows up and doors locked when in traffic, and keep valuables out of sight. Limit your speed to 100 kilometers per hour and be vigilant about your surroundings. Don't pick up random people at the roadside. Ensure the police or military officers at checkpoints or bad portions of the road are real security officers, especially at bad portions of the road and downtown roads. This is all we have time for now. We shall continue to put information across to the public. Thank you for your time. Yours truly, Francis J.